v757 on the Xbox One. So, if you like the video, please hit the like button, and if you want to see more, subscribe. With that all being said, let's cover into this video. Alright, so the first most important thing everyone must most likely know about this update is the center is now locked. Okay, now this is the stupidest thing I've ever seen, and I'm going to have a rant about it, but basically, in order to unlock this, as you see, I have failed to unlock it still. Reason is mine's glitching out, but basically what you gotta do is you gotta complete Gamma level, so that's the easy Ascension, so you gotta kill the easy bosses and then you do easy Gamma, which is easy Ascension, or you can type in this command, which is playercommand ascend 2. My friend did that and it worked for him, so I'll put that in the description below the command so that way you can just type it in. Try that and that should work, but yeah, that's really stupid how they blocked this off, but I will come back to that later. But anyway, another thing is I want to quickly mention, this came in a previous update, but I thought I'd do it anyway. Survival guide, you come here, it's got all some cool tips for you when you're starting off. Just thought I might mention that quickly, but anyway, move on to the next most important thing, is the new server options and things as well. So, for example, it says specify the scaling factor for the damage player deals with their attacks. So now with server settings, it gives you a brief description about it, so that way you know about it and whether or not you want to get it. Okay, so one of the first new options is allow unlimited respecs. So you're probably thinking, what the hell is this? Well, basically in this update, they were smart enough and were like, hey, you know what's funny? Let's make it that once per level you can use a mind wipe. Yeah, that's right. Once per level you're allowed to mind wipe. That's it. So if you put this thing on, you can mind wipe as much as you want in a level. So make sure you tick that if you want to mind wipe like 24/7, unless you're gonna wait every level before you mind wipe. Stupidest thing, but that's a new thing. This new one, multiple platforms. This effectively allows you to construct a base with multiple levels on the floors, on the platform saddles, which is pretty cool. That out. And you've got disabled structure placement collisions. This is probably my favorite one out of them all. As everyone knows, Ark is a real bitch when you're placing a structure, because when you do, if it interferes with the environment at all, you can't place it. Well, with this new update, you can say goodbye to that and build a base like under the map, and the game doesn't give two flips. It's like, oh yeah, whatever, it's just a normal building a base. So next one, corpse locator, which is the best thing they probably put in the game, and this will be automatically on the officials. So upon death, a giant beam of light shoots into the air to help the player locate where they died. This is, like I said, automatically enabled on official, and this will be on your server if you allow it or not. So that's actually really useful, because I know when I lost my stuff and I was like, where the frickin' hell is my corpse? There it is. It will beam up so long as your body's there. So make sure you go, get your stuff before it's too late. And it will also work underwater as well. New one is new single player settings. So what this basically does is it turns the game to a more like lone player and small group experience. So basically how Ark would go generally is it would run like an official server, like massive tribes, massive people, but this effectively just makes it like, hey, look, there's only one bloke playing this, let's make it easy or whatnot, you know what I mean? So I got the corpse locator, which is great. They've also got this new fancy option about the spawn crates, which we'll cover soon. So we've done the collision, single player settings done. Oh yeah, fast decay. So this apparently will enable the option for fixed constant decay period for fast decay structures such as pillar or foundation, like things decay. I'm really confused on this one they said in the patch notes, but apparently this fixes the decay or makes the decay faster. Either way, there you go, new decay system. Anyway, now let's cover the other important parts. So you have to go to advanced engrams now, so we'll just scroll all the way up to advanced, scroll all the way down. Alright. I'm gonna say this now, I prefer the old system, to be honest with you. This new one's like, ugh. Anyway, we're coming down, almost there. Okay, we are here. So, here it is, supply loot crate quality and fishing loot. So basically, we all know, when you get a supply drop, it's either really good or really crap. Like, I mean, I've got cloth pants and a red drop before. Well, for you, those play dedicated or non-dedicated or your single player worlds, this is great because now you can make it that spawn crate has better quality items in it. So I put mine to 5, which means I'm going to get, better stuff than generally if you put it down to 0, well then you're going to basically get your primitive crap. So that's a cool way in order to do that. You got the fishing loot quality, which, as you know, when you fish, you get stuff, and it can be a good rarity or bad rarity. Well, that also is the same as the loot crate, you'll get better rarity. And then the last most important one is the crafting skill bonus multiplier. Now this is a very important skill which we'll be talking about later, but if you play on a single player or dedicated, this is probably something you want to have on. Basically, the overall general view is when you craft something, when you have enough skills in crafting skill, you can either make the item better or crap, depending on the multiplier you have. So yeah, that is literally all the most important settings. So now let's jump into the world and get into the other cool stuff. So they've brought a bunch of new stuff in this update. There's one new tech item, and a bunch of mini bits and pieces really. But the new tech item is called a tech trough. It's powered by a tech generator, and this trough refrigerates food and keeps it fresher for longer. And they also brought in a new tech saddle for the tech jar. So that's the first flyer we have with the tech saddle. So what does this tech trough do? So basically it's a feeding trough, but it's also a refrigerator at the same time, which is absolutely awesome because it's like literally like the best thing ever. As most people know, I've played on official server, and anyone that knows has played on official servers, is that food spoils really fast on feeding trough and it frickin' sucks. Well, this is like, nah, screw that. So here it is over here. It needs to be powered by a tech generator. You go in, you open it up, and then you've got your berries. As you can see, they have about 12 hours and 46 minutes before one part of them decays. I've tried to make my server as close to official as I can, so hopefully these stats are somewhat close to official. And you can also make iced water in it, which is a new item that's also came in recently. So we're going to be talking about iced water. But yeah, definitely get that. That's really awesome. So iced off, and you'll get iced water about after 60 seconds. Drinking from iced water increases your hypothermia levels, insulation by 84, and decreases your hypothermia by the same amount. So basically it makes it easy for you to survive on the hot days in scorched earth, easier. However, it makes it really hard when things are freezing cold at night time. So, you know, when you remove it from the fridge, you got about 53 seconds before it spoils. However, if you leave that in the fridge, you got equivalent 2 years of iced water just chilling in your fridge. So it's really awesome. It's quite useful. All right. So the next one is, where's it gone? It's unspawned itself. Of course it has. It's the Tech ATV. As most people know, there was a dune buggy that recently came into the game. They've brought it in now as an official thing, as a proper one. I'm just trying to find out where I actually put it, because I had like 500 of them. And it was here like 5 minutes ago. Okay, well that's awkward. I will get a new ATV while we keep going on. But as you can see here, this is that little collision thing that I was talking about a little bit earlier. So now, as you can see, like that is literally not even in the map. Like, I'm going to go ahead. By the way, new way to open commands. Now you got to open that menu, and you have to hold LB, RB, X, and Y. Do that simultaneously to open the menu now. It's kind of a bit of a pain in the butt, but it's a new thing. And we'll go Ghost in a second once this loads. The game is also somewhat more laggy now, but as you can see, this is under the map. So I didn't like this; just literally snapped on with my stuff. So that's about the whole new terrain thing, like I was mentioning. So that's pretty cool how that's a thing now. Like that very much. All right, so that's done. Artifacts now have their own little special look to them, so they're no longer in that little meshy thing. So I've spawned these in. But these are apparently the new flashy things of awesomeness. So yeah, that's them. This is the new way they should be looking apparently, which is pretty awesome that they've actually done this. I like this much better because it actually tells you which artifact you're like going for instead of like, oh, which artifact am I going for type of thing, you know. So that's really cool how they actually added that in, which is really nice. Rexes also cannot fit through the small things anymore. They need to be in the big ones. You can also paint yourself! Yes, if you just hit the left trigger, you can now paint yourself officially, because prior to this update you weren't able to colour yourself. You would have to get someone to colour you, and well, that could always end badly or good, depending on if you got good mates or not. So yeah, it's cool now that you can actually colour yourself. Alright, so the next thing we're going to talk about is the crafting thing that I was mentioning earlier. So as you can see here, my crafting skill is 1160, which is quite a lot. I spent all my skill points into it. And basically, like I was saying before, it effectively, how it works is the higher your skill is, the better build you will get. So what I'm going to do here is, so as you can see here with this blueprint that we're looking at right now, it says when I create it, it will have 175 weapon damage, 0.1, and the durability will be 83 durability. Hold on 2 seconds, guys. Whoop, what the hell's going on? My phone's just crashed. Okay, so yeah, now I went ahead and built one. As you can see, crafted Bob, Ninja, and it's gone ahead and said I've done a 50.2% skill, and as you can see, the weapon damage is 212.8, and the durability is gone up much more than that of the blueprint. I went ahead and spawned another one in, a little bit lower durability, a little bit lower damage, crafting skill, like it all depends, like it's gonna be randomized completely, like you might get a better item or you might get a crapper item, it honestly just all depends. So that's the whole crafting skill and what's cool about that, which is really awesome, like, because like if you got like a mastercraft and you got someone that builds into that, you could probably get a better mastercraft than the one that you're just going to get off base, which is pretty awesome. And it also doubles in making the product build much faster than what it currently is. You know, if you've got a normal base, it might be like 3 times build compared to this, which is like a 1 times build, you know what I mean? Alright, Tech Shape Jara. So, this guy is the first fly to have tech tier. So, all you gotta do is hit his melee button, and you can fly in the air while you use it. And just go ahead and shoot my elements, going around. It's still got the other 2 seats to it as well, so I can have 2 passengers with their guns. And now I can also have guns and shoot people as well. There it is, coming out of the little nozzle of my nose. So yeah, that's pretty cool how it comes in now to this game. 2 seconds, I've just got the command now to get the ATV back. Once my phone wants to connect to my console. Oh, it's not going to work. Alright, whatever. Anyway, back to the point being. So this thing, I think it uses about 25% element per shot, I believe. So that's, how many shots is that? Do my math, divide. I think that's roughly 25 shots of element per thing. I can clarify that in about 2 seconds. I just want to get this ATV in, because this thing's a pain in the butt. I spawned in like 50 of these and they all disappeared from my inventory. How stupid is that? Alright. There we go, I've got the tech ATVs. Good stuff. Okay. So let me just quickly clarify on that thing. Oh jeez. Alright. So, the tech shape Jara does... Where is it gone? Hold on, I've lost my phone. Oh, here it is, tech shape up. So, it's oh, sorry, 4%. 4% of element is used per shot, which means you get 25 shots with 1 element. And in order to get this, you need to kill the easy dragon. And it also adds more armor to the tape jar. We already know tech stuff does. Now, the tech ATV. So this is now an official thing in the game. This is your little special dune buggy. You can have you in it and another person riding into it, and you can also store items in it. And for some screwed up reason, it's not allowing me to put storage in it. But yeah, this is the tech ATV. It's pretty awesome. It's pretty cool. So there's, like I said, a seat for you and your friend. You can also use guns while you're in it. Pulled out my pistol, so if you want to do a bit of a drive-by shooting, why not? In order to get this, you either have to spawn it in, or you have to complete Alpha Ascension on single player. It's not a thing on official servers yet, which is kind of silly to be honest with you. But yeah, even though there's an engram built into it, you can only get it once you complete Alpha Ascension, which is kind of like, stupid. But hey, what can you do, right? They're just gonna throw that crap onto us, so, you know. And also the tech trough, I don't know which boss that you need to kill for it yet, unfortunately, because I've went and killed every single boss. Still didn't unlock it. I had to force myself to learn it, so not sure about that. As soon as I know, I'll let you know. Anyway, now that we have covered that, let's talk about the bosses. So the bosses have a little bit of a slight change when it comes to single player. Don't worry, official, you're safe. I've already checked it. But this now affects single player. So in single player and non-dedicated and dedicated worlds, we have a little bit of an effect. So each obelisk now has a certain boss. So if you go to the red one, you can only have the dragon boss there, green is broodmother, and blue is the monkey boss. So you have to go to that obelisk to then spawn in that dragon. You can't go to red and spawn in the broodmother. It doesn't work like that. And also you can't do boss battles from supply drops either, which is kind of stupid. Now, I don't know what was going through Ark's head at this time, or Wildcard's head this time, because it's like, what if if this was screwed up on official or dedicated, you know what I mean, like, then it just doesn't work. But anyway, that's a rant for another time. But anyway, point being is that's that. Bosses now have assigned artifacts. Take, for example, the dragon. It wants the immune, the cunning, the skull, and the strong in all its 3 things. And of course, you put in its little apex drops as well. But that's the 3 main things. The 4 main artifacts. So that means instead of going to get every single supply drop in the game, you only supplied artifacts. You only need to get the artifacts specified for the person. There's also new tributes: Giga Heart, Bacillo Blubber, Spinosail, the Tyrannosaurus Lungs, Allo Brain, Theno Claws, Thyro Hook Claw, Megalena Toxin, Sarco Skin, and Titanoboa Venom. We've already covered that, and I think that is it. Is that everything important? Let me just check. Yes, that is. Alright, so now we're just going to talk about the patch notes to these update. That what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to read out the ones that I have found to be the most important, but I'm going to have a link to all the patch notes, and I'll tell you which ones to go to. And don't worry, I'm also going to do a video talking about them all, but I want to do that in a separate video. I'm just going to cover the main ones. But anyway, so let's quickly get into the patch notes so that you guys can all live your life. Right. So the Saber now has increased hide and pelt capability, harvest capability, and reduces fall damage, so basically gets more hide and pelt. Crafting requirements are now in alphabetical order. Placement or outline on structures now indicates the direction via the change. So, for example, if you were to put down, I don't know, we'll just use this thatch foundation, right? You get a thatch foundation, you get a wall. When you go to place the wall, you've got the first part that says the wall is facing this way, and then you click Y, and it'll be facing another direction. So basically, it just gives you that idea of just when you press Y to flick the direction, it tells you, hey, this is the way it looks, this is how it's going to be direction, so you know it's easier to build now, which is pretty cool. I like that. Quetzals can now fit through giant hatch frames. They've updated the tame and untamed icons on the Explorer note. So basically what you do is you go to your Explorer notes, we're going to head over here, and it'll tell you what you've actually tamed and what you haven't tamed. So, as you can see here, I've tamed a Giga apparently, haven't tamed Bigfoot, so, you know, even though I have, so whatever. Rexes, like I said, can't go through small gates. All land dinos can now attack underwater. Obelisks make this weird creepy sound when you're near to them. The small underwater scorpions now spawn, like there's more of them in the water, so you can easily get black pearls. Creatures in caves are now stronger. The great cost of running a tech generator. You no longer need to use element shards when using a teleporter. So teleporters are completely free now, which is absolutely great. I love this. I could just teleport wherever I want right now, free of charge, with your dinos and everything. So thank goodness for that one. They prevented the multiple floors from being built underneath rafts and platform saddles, where if you put in that command, like I said, it just completely flicks it out of the window. Direwolves. This doubled the rate of oil and element consumption in single player, which is kind of stupid. Also in single player, artifacts now respawn after every 30 minutes. I don't know why they would do that, but after every 30 minutes, the artifact will respawn. So there you go. Trophy, wall mount, and bases are now paintable. Okay, this is the one I'm going to get really salty about. They got rid of the infinite. You had a cooking pot, you put an item in there, you flicked a bit of dye in there, and you could basically change it to any color you want free of charge. They finally patched it. I'm really annoyed about that, but I'll get into that a bit later. But yeah, that's one of the new annoying issues they've put in, so, you know, damn you wildcard. On single player, transfers can only be done via the obelisk now, which is stupid. You can paint yourself, as we already covered. Days are 25% longer. Tech rifles no longer work in thunderstorms. Okay, and that fish, this is going to affect you quite a lot, but so basically they removed all the current fishing rods. So if you had a fishing rod, it's gone. It's not in your inventory, it's not in your chest. They just wiped them all, which was stupid. Wish they kind of gave us warning. And it reduces the max size of fish, which is catchable. So basically now with honey, leech blood, and sap, each one of them have a different size to how heavy they can lift a dino and a fish. So like sap gets a 2.2 max size of a fish, whereas sap is only an 0.9 weight of a fish. So it's kind of weird. Don't worry, I'll do another video on that more in depth. But basically just know that they've screwed around with the fishing a bit, which is really annoying. So they removed the boss area and the tech cave timers off, so when you play on non-dedicated or dedicated you can just go in there and don't worry about a timer, which is cool. They've added metal now to the volcano, so that's back. They've increased the radius of the house buff by double, and gates now work as walls, which means you get the indoor buff from them. Obelisk, this is a great one. Save your inventory in single player. I always knew when I would put something in the obelisk and I would leave, it would delete everything. Don't worry, they save it now, so that's great. And just to make matters worse, up the sweet veggie cakes now require giant bee honey to craft. Yay, wild card, you're making my life difficult and everyone else. Thanks, guys. Alright, and the last most important ones are like dino. So Troodons are now scared of light, so if you got a torch, those things will run away from you and won't attack you. The Pteranodon Sandal is level 38 now. The Gigas, tamed Gigas take less fall damage. Thenos gather less resources. Gigas and tamed and wild Gigas have a reduced base damage. Creatures will no longer drown when they're encumbered, and then land creatures only receive 50% of their regular additional speed. And also, when a Pegomastix attacks you, it's got about 30 seconds before it can attack you again, unless you attack it. So if I was to attack it, then there's no cooldown. But if it attacks me, then it has a 30-second cooldown. So that is literally like everything in this new update, guys. Just tried to cover it in a small 20 minutes. I hope it was very helpful and useful. Don't worry, I'll be talking about some other stuff about the update more in depth. But this is just the general overview. So I hope this video has helped you guys a lot. If you liked it, please hit the like button. And if you want to see more content, feel free to subscribe, guys. I've got plenty more content on the way. But yeah, hope you all enjoy this new update, and I'll see you guys around in my next video. Take care, be awesome, I'll see you around.